Day number 11 on the OBV Divergence strategy. Just got the Euro US dollar pulled up, and it's looking more and more like the divergence trade was down here. That would have been the one to take. Would have had 1.5 times ATR profit on the first sub trade. Can't be entirely sure on the second sub trade. It's possible it would have been knocked out there, but if not, really nice run into today. Missed out on that one, but there's got to be more out there, so let's take a look at the charts. For the last 2 weeks, we did manage to get a trade on the opening day of the week. Maybe we'll get lucky. Dollar dropping heavy against the Swissy still. Bounce, bounce. That Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar currency pair is going to be closing higher than Friday. It's still not above this close here. This is one we're after though. New Zealand dollar CAD has bounced back. So currently here, if we had got into the trade here, don't think we would have got knocked out. It's only about 35 pips or so to the low. Wouldn't have taken profit either. It would still be going. Sadly though, no new trades to get us started for the week. See what we got tomorrow. Day number 12, and after a higher than expected core CPI print coming in at 0.6%, we can see that on the calendar here. Let's just pull it up. There it is, core CPI 0.6%. Has caused the dollar to strengthen. Don't know exactly what interest rate decision the markets were factoring in for Jerome Powell to bring. Probably it's still going to be 0.75%, but the market does like to react pretty strongly to this stuff. And so we see the euro here dropped almost about 1.5% against the dollar. I think we're going to see this on other ones. Yeah, we can see the dollar climbing against the Swiss franc. Pound falling against the dollar. It's going to be consistent across all of them. Let's go through those charts, see if we've got any lower closes or higher closes from the last 20 periods. US dollar CAD bringing some potential divergence. It's only just closing at the high. We can go back 20 periods and we can see it definitely is a higher close, but only just about against these candles. And we do have quite a bit of room to play with compared to these higher highs from the OBV. So we'll just give it another day, a little bit of breathing room off the back of this. Hopefully if we see a green candle tomorrow, this OBV certainly isn't going to get higher than these peaks over here. So we might be looking at a US dollar, Canadian dollar sell trade tomorrow. Let's be a little bit patient with it. Aussie Swiss franc at a low, but so is the OBV. Almost getting there on the Euro Swiss franc. Again, it's not quite below this low close here. And it is only 16 periods back. So if we see another red day like this, could be lining us up for a good trade there as well. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar still almost there. If we were seeing the close up at the higher price towards there, certainly we'd be looking at this divergence. But it's still closing beneath this candle back here. Realistically, we are going to have to see a push pretty soon. The OBV has come up fast on it. Still potential though, still got a bit of movement on it compared to back here. The New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar does sink to new lower closes, and I think we will have a go at this one. We'll give it a try. You can see easily many times away in the ATR from the moving average. It's about 3 or 4 times from it. And quite a sharp drop. Not super confident in it, but this is a fair chance divergence compared to here, here, and all the way back here as well. Some decent divergence compared to these markers. If you look at the OBV, it has come up since then, but quite a considerable drop in that same period of time. So we'll get ourselves into this one here and now. With 1 times ATR, we are looking at 67.5 pips to the stop loss. And so as always, you can see our risk calculator on the screen. It's going to be 1.95 standard lots for both our sub trades. And we're buying the NZD against the Canadian dollar. Once and twice. There we go. There are those stop losses. 1 times ATR does feel pretty tight when we put them down. Might be thinking that 1.5 times is better, but that's what we're going to be doing for our take profit on sub trade 8. 101 pips. There it is. Seems attainable if this is the bottom, but if it's not the bottom, it is going to be another loss. Let's pop our trading stop loss on here. This is going to be the 1 times ATR. So pretty basic, 675 points. And there we go. We are in. So we will be leaving it at that. That's the only signal for us tonight. There's a few to keep an eye on tomorrow. The US dollar CAD, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, the Euro Swiss franc. Still options that might come for us. So plenty to watch out for. Day 13. Hanging in there on the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. It did open lower, but nowhere near the stop loss. And now it's come all the way back just above our entry price. And at least we paid a reasonable swap overnight as well. Only 83 cents on each of them. So it's all right. Check the other charts. US dollar, Canadian dollar didn't really creep into new highs, closing at the same place it did yesterday. We did see a high end price at this resistance level where we've previously seen a high here and a high here. Euro Swiss franc is a little bit green, so not going to be a signal there for today. And the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar has been a green day, but it's so narrow compared to this close over here 12 periods ago. It's not enough. If we were desperate for a trade, we could technically take it because it is just about high. You can see the narrow gap there. But we'll see if we can squeeze another big green day out of it and get in. But that's it. At least we haven't had a one-day stop loss hit on our New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade. So we'll be back tomorrow to check them again. Go New Zealand dollar. Whoop, whoop. Day 14 and our trade has flipped on us, but only just a little bit. Hovering around about just $100 down for each sub-trade. Still nowhere near the stop loss, but certainly not a lot of movement going on. Consolidation is what we see. US dollar, Canadian dollar, that has pushed today, heading up to the close. Gone about 0.5%. Still plenty of room on this divergence. Do we try and be greedy and just give it one more day, see if it'll push a little bit more? I think we do, because already being in New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade, that would give us 2 Canadian dollar trades that we're in. Twice the risk on a single currency, so let's try and be greedy with it. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, that's come down a bit. Not going into those highs. We're watching this one closely. Not going to take any signals tonight then, even though we do have this potential on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. But we are going to try and squeeze out what we can, not just throw ourselves into any old divergence. See if we've got a better move tomorrow. Day 15, it's the end of the week, and it's a nice day for our New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade. Up we go to the green. Currently, both trades around about $635 up. That's what we like. And the US dollar, Canadian dollar did push higher, but I still don't know if I want to get into it. We've still got room on the divergence. And the reason I'm a bit iffy about getting into it is because in this instance, we'd be shorting off the US dollar, so buying the Canadian dollar, when we're already buying the New Zealand dollar, so shorting the Canadian dollar. So we'd have two opposite trades going on the Canadian dollar. I do feel as though if we wait the weekend through, give it Monday and Tuesday, there's a chance we might be able to take profit on these with the buys for our New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade and still have room to get a divergence trade in and start selling off the dollar and buying the Canadian dollar instead. I think that's worth a go. Euro, Swiss franc moving away from that divergence. Candle's been green the last 3 days. Signal looking less likely, but maybe a sharp drop will still see us in. Because of those green candles, the OBV has been on the rise. Potential still there. And CAD with a bit of a rough time has been falling against the yen. Price back to where we got knocked out of our stop loss on the trade a week or two ago. And that is it from us until Monday. Just sticking with the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade. Looking good so far, so reason to be hopeful. We'll take a quick look at the trading journal. Just a quick pop into the journal, nothing much added to it, just our New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade, which is yet to be completed. So currently it's still around about $434 down. But overall, if we are counting our open trade, we are up by around about $800. So we do have things to be positive about. Hopefully next time when we come back, we'll have some nice green figures plugged into this area here. Until then,